So out here we stay at, we dealt with so many storms. There were storms out of the woodworks that were just showing up at our door. Storm after storm after storm. I'm like, man, when is it gonna stop raining? And what I noticed is that by these storms coming in and out, there were things that I have created that got destroyed. And in the midst of the things that I created that got destroyed by the storm, I began to regret, like, man, I'm gonna have to start over now. I'm gonna have to start over when I just started. I just got this right. I just did this thing. Now I'm gonna have to start over. When I saw the very things that I created had been destroyed, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I have invested so much time and so much of me into this thing that I've created. I don't know if you've ever been in a place to where a storm has hit your life, and now you're at a standing ground to where you're saying, I'm gonna have to start over. Maybe you got to start over on a relationship. Maybe you got to start over on a marriage. Maybe you have to start over on going back to school. Maybe there is something that you have to start over on, and you are regretting the start over because you're saying, I've already invested so much. I've already invested so much. I've already invested so much of me into this thing that is now destroyed. See, in the midst of the things that had been destroyed, God showed me what could not hold. See, there are storms that are coming in your life right now, and you see that the very thing that it has destroyed, but what you need to open up your eyes to see is what God has allowed to become. See, in the midst of the very thing that I created that had got destroyed, I had to now begin to open up my eyes to something new. God began to create new space and new room for the things that got destroyed. See, the things that got destroyed only made availability for the things that need to come in. See, there are storms that God is allowing you to go through so that there are things that are tied to you that can come to you. See, I saw it as I'm having to start over, and I saw it as it's being against me. But this storm only made me aware of what could not be for me. See, this could not be in my next. This could not be in my season to come. This could not be in my season right now. See, there are storms right now that you are having to face because God wants you to see that right now in this storm, I want you to see who your real friends are. I want you to see what's the false, what's for you, what's not for you, what you need to close the door to, what you need to open the door to. See, these storm moments are meant to show you what could not stand now that God is taking you to the next season that is for you. And you have allowed your comfort to keep you. So God is sending storms to knock at your door, to bring out of you what he has put within you. In the midst of me seeing the very things that I created destroyed, it showed me what could not stand. See, what I had created looked good for the moment. See, there are things that you have created that are looking good only for the moment. There are things that you have accepted that are only supposed to be for a season. And what we have done is that we have allowed these things to become permanent in a place that God has said it was only supposed to be temporary. Sometimes we can get so caught up into what we create that we lose sight of what God has called. And when we lose sight of what God has called, then we become captive and we become comfortable in the very thing that we have created. In the midst of the storm, not everything that I had created had got destroyed. See, there were some things that God had gave me grace on. And what I want you to understand is that the reason why God allowed what was still standing to still stay standing was because it was going to be able to feed who he was calling. See, there are some things that you are going through. There are going to be storms that God is going to still allow to still stay standing. He's not going to destroy those things because those things he is going to use to still feed the you that he is calling. But there are going to be some things that God is going to allow to be destroyed because those things are starving either who you are called to become in your next, or those things have reached its expiration date. I began to see that what I saw, that I saw as destroyed was not destroyed. It was actually a thing that God had allowed to bring me into my deliverance. See, there are things that you are seeing that as being destroyed in your life, but what God is really doing is that he is using it to bring deliverance in your life. When I saw that the storm had destroyed what I created, I was also allowed to see, I also began to see that this cannot hold where I'm going. See, this was not supposed to be my forever. This was only supposed to be but a moment. See, there are things that were supposed to be but a moment, and we're wondering why we are not moving. And he allowed you to see it no longer working. It is time for you now to seek his new instructions. So I want you to embrace this storm. I want you in this storm to ask God, what is it that needs to be thrown away? What is it that needs to be? What is it that needs to become? What is it that I need to do? Who do I need to be? So in this storm, even though you may see it as you don't want to start over, but this start over does not mean it is over. It is that God is about to take you over. You guys be blessed. Thank you for tuning into Spiritual Beauty Ministry.